Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being on my channel, Consciousness with Carly. We're going to have Niraj on today. It's always a vibe, the great connector. We're going to talk about manifesting, maybe a little bit of twin flames, divine guidance, stuff along that nature. Good morning, everybody. Johnny Hollow, Nutrition 4, NU 1979, MLFK, Stacy Bennett 888. Sorry, I'm trying to get everybody's names right. But I really appreciate you being on here. Good morning. Good morning. Let's get Niraj on here and let's vibe. Okay, where you at? Hey, good morning. All right.
Back in business.
Back in business.
All set up?
Yeah.
Oh, dang, do you get your selenite wand? You didn't tell me you were going to a selenite party. I would have grabbed mine.
I didn't either. I just was sitting here and was like, you know what? We need some high vibes. I put this in my on my heart, blessed it. It's all nice and warm now.
Oh, nice.
He's inspired. Everybody get your crystals out.
Everybody get your damn crystals.
It's one of those days. We're going to bless our weekend. We're going to bless our week. We're going to bless our life.
We pray to almighty rocks.
We got our selenite sticks up in here, ready to go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. They're just grabbing his crystals. I'm going to bring some good energy in.
Dan, Carly, you said crystals. Now you're going to make me grab more than one.
One legacy, one life. Billy Red. Pray for healing, Mr. Arbeos, I think. Well, I really appreciate you guys being on here. Desert 18. Good morning. Or wherever you are in the world. Maybe it's good evening.
Because we international like that.
Hello, Johnny. Thank you for being here. We're going to have a great discussion today. It's always a great discussion. Always great. Some of the stuff that comes through sometimes I'm just like, wow. Electric Blue, Carlos, Saul. Good morning, everybody.
Apologies in advance, everybody. I will be using the tissue box and be sneezing quite a bit.
All right. You got the allergies, huh?
Janae, what it do? All right. Amethyst. That's all I want.
Hey! All right. Yeah, I know I did that earlier too.
Yeah. All right. So now we have our vibrating rock thingies.
Yes. What do you want to talk
Hello,
about?
everyone. You know what? Let's do this a little bit different today. Everybody, tell us how you're feeling today. We always tell you how we're feeling. Tell us how you're feeling today. What's been the chilling like an feel? Well, that was fast. Chilling like villains. Tell us how you're feeling. We want to take any kind of questions or comments or vibes. Maybe we can explain some things here. But we're also going to share more about what's going on with us, some of the collective energy, things like that.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Also, hello to everyone who's joining. I'm Niraj. This is Carly. We do these things. Instagram
You are
lives.
getting messages from either of us that have anything to do with readings or that the universe has a message for you, it's a scam. It's not us. Just so you know. That's not real from us. That's somebody scamming you, so just be careful.
That's also really whack. Who would say the universe has a message for you?
I hear them all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Echoing tone, Carlos said, that's how I feel. It's like an echo. It's like everything you put out going out to the universe, coming right back to you.
Yeah. That whole ancient future idea is really getting good with me. Because it's like, it feels like more of my life is a deja vu now. Oh, like I totally craved that. Like, yeah, I remember this happening. I swear I saw this in a dream. Things like that. Time is becoming way more fluid, and it's like the present and the past and the future. They don't really work how they used to before,
Right.
and that's part of the game as we're ascending in, or not even ascending. I don't like that word so much. As we're becoming aware of these new vibrations that we have, you get to
Right.
experience life and time and the world differently. And that's the only reason why manifestation works, is because manifestation is just how time and space moves at the highest level. It observes, reality gets created based on your observation of what you're seeing. If you've ever been on psychedelics or in deep meditation, or maybe you've just been really emotionally heightened, it's almost like if you think something's going to happen, it happens. If you try, like, oh, that person's about to say this, boom, that person says this, or this person's going to move here, boom, or I'm going to start feeling this, and then it happens. So these little coincidences that we think are actually little fragments of what it's like to manifest and create reality. And if we can take control of those assumptions and those little coincidences and make them more repeatable, boom, now you can control what happens in your life and you can be the creator again.
Right.
So that's always going to be fun. It's always going to be fun. Oh, do you have any
Well,
cool
like,
manifestation experiences lately?
so this is where I'm getting at with the whole, like, when is it that you are manifesting, and when is it that you are being divinely guided from a source, from that, like, your higher self, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it gets confusing, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, I've had times where I've been like instant manifesting, and on a roll, and it's just going. But then there's times where it's like, you know, your higher self knows knows you best and knows what your soul intentions were for your mission. And so even though you feel like you may know what you need to do, sometimes you're pushed and led to do the opposite, or do things or not do things, and you don't know why. It's like the energy's just turned off. And that's how I have felt. I have felt like there's just been this energy that's just turned off, like, for me. And I think that it's because I need to integrate more of that, my own self power again, because you're constantly evolving. You know what I mean? And it's like you could be on a roll, like on a roll with manifesting, and then a few months later, you're like, what the hell happened? Like, I was feeling good. I was doing all these things, and I'm very neutral. Like, I don't have any
Mm-hmm.
feelings right now. I'm very, very neutral. So it's not like this, like, super enlightened feeling like I felt in the past when I was getting activated a lot. Now we've been activated, and the only thing that there is to really do is just to surrender and have faith and stay neutral. And I think a lot of that has to do with the collective energies and all of the bullshit that's going on in our world right now. That makes sense. That makes sense. It's like we gotta ground it in. Like, we gotta ground it in for all the shit that's going on. The derailments, the chemical spills that are happening everywhere, these freaking earthquakes. Like, there's a lot going on in our world. Like, we came here to hold it down, you know. And I think every one of us has a different mission with that. And, like, for me, we know, I've told you a lot of the times I'm just holding a certain frequency, so I'm not allowed to do much. I just have to stay neutral.
Wow. That makes a lot of sense, huh? That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's really cool. The the whole idea of, like, us sharing the collective sphere, and then each one of us has a consciousness that controls part of the collective. And when everybody in the collective, or the majority at least, changes their vibration to a higher state of being, then the entire collective can shift at once. That's really what we're doing here on Earth, is just taking the majority share of the consciousness back from where it used to be to create heaven on Earth. And it's already done. It's already going to be done. We're doing well. We're on a good chart. I know things in the world may not look so good, but this reality's in it's not real time. Like, this reality has a lag to it. In the higher dimensions, which just means the more less dense realms of yourself and your consciousness, in the higher dimensions, things have already been done. We already know who we are as a human collective. Our souls remember. We're just playing out these roles here in the physical. And for the people that aren't aware of what's going on in their higher selves, in their soul, in their minds, people who are conscious and aware, like everybody here and you and me, we're doing the work of keeping that memory or that knowledge at the forefront of our reality. so that we can influence our segment of the collective sphere in a more positive way to hold more space for other people coming up and remembering. And the person that has more consciousness, like a person who knows who they are, let's just throw out like an enlightened being, just somebody who knows who they are and what this is and what life is and what reality is. Somebody who walks around in that awareness, like a Jesus type, for example, or a Buddha type, they have way more sway over the collective consciousness than a person who doesn't, a person who's not at that frequency. So it's like we're all sharing the same collective server, and then everybody on the server has a certain job. But people who know how to control the server, aka people who know how to manifest, people who know how to use their consciousness, people who are tapped into the creator, people who know quantum physics and stuff, that all is like the people who know what's going on. And we can actually bend more of reality so that other people can also use our wave of energy and come along. Does this idea make sense? I just want to make sure I'm talking clearly.
It does to me.
Yay. So we're doing good work.
We are, and like we were talking about, like there's different phases of when you are in a manifesting energy, right? And you have a lot of that energy going on, and then there's other phases where you may be called to just hold and anchor it down, and to just let the energies move through you, because you're also in a body, and you came here to be in a body and to have all this collective energy going through you. So it's like when you don't feel motivated and you feel exhausted, you have to remember like how much work your body is doing. Not just are you activating DNA, but you're also feeling and expressing and purging, depending on what type of healer you are, a whole collective for a prison planet. That's a lot of heavy energy. So it's moving through you like you know how like when you put like a strainer, you're like a strainer. It's coming through you, and then you're transmuting it in here, and then it's coming out, you know, and that's exhausting because you're like, oh, you know. And so I would say for people that are feeling all of this heavy energy, to just remember to be gentle with yourself. And something that's helped me too is like affirmations where I'm like, I am powerful, I'm divinely guided, I'm doing God's work. Like when I remind myself that, like I am doing God's work, even when it feels like I'm not in action, I don't have the energy to do shit, I can't even exercise because I'm so tired. It's like, that's your work. And we all have different jobs, and we're all holding it down at different times, and we all get different waves. Like somebody like you who's like feeling good right now, you know, and you're manifesting and it's really working out for you in that sense. I love that, because that tells me that I'm going to get that wave because we're taking it on. We can't all be in it at one time. There has to be a balance. We have to take on the different energies. We need people that are manifesting right now, people that are holding it down, and then we're going to switch. And we do. We feel it.
That's legit. That's so legit. I hope everybody really registered that. That was really cool. And you know what? I know I told you I was in the manifesting spirit, and I am. I always will be. But I feel the whole switch thing. I feel like that's where it's in right now. Like I do feel good, but I feel the switch happening also. I feel like I'm holding down some frequencies. And I think a really big deal that I didn't understand that you helped me make really clear of, Carly, is that the energies and the emotions that I feel, a lot of times they're not mine. They're collective energies. They belong to my familial heritage, to the earth itself, to our culture. And I didn't know what was mine and what wasn't. So could you talk a little bit more about how to discern what's yours and what's not?
Oh, man, I've been going through this for years. I would say that if you look at your outside circumstances, and there's nothing substantial for why you're feeling a certain way, then you have to start asking the questions. And you have to ask yourself, is this a shadow work? Is this something in me? Is this a trauma that I'm moving? Is this ancestral trauma that I'm moving? You have to ask the questions, and that's when you start resonating. So asking the questions is going to give you more clarity on what it is that you're feeling. Because I feel like we also can have a whirlwind mixture of both, and that's real tough, because when you're right in the middle of feeling something that's circumstantial, that is painful, plus you're dealing with collective energies that are moving through you, that can be really hard, you know, because then it's like really overwhelming. But think of it like this: collective energies are also you. You are the collective.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling something that is maybe triggered in a trauma response, think about maybe the collective energies are assisting that to come up for you, so you can go, oh, this may be attached to a childhood wound. I should purge and heal and move this, because that's my work in the collective. Me doing that work and releasing the traumas and the inner child shit and all that stuff is collective energy healing. It is. And and the stories that we have attached to the energy, it's just there to help assist you so you can identify what it is, so that way you have a way to move it. Because if we didn't have a label or a story for our energies, we would be like probably not here right now, because we wouldn't know how to process it. How do you process all of this energy if you can't place it somewhere?
Right. Yeah, that
So
makes
if
sense.
it assists you to place it on something, like if you're feeling a certain way and you're feeling like maybe like triggered about things, and you're like, oh, you know, maybe it's because of like a father wound or a mother wound. Great, place it there. Dive into that. Figure out if it is. Move it. How do you move it? You forgive it. You forgive yourself for holding on to it for so long. That is actually assisting in the collective energy. So it's all one thing. It's
So
all one big thing.
literally, no matter what you do, you're doing God's work.
Mm-hmm.
No
But I
matter
know
what
what
you
you're
do.
saying. Like, is this mine or is it not? There's times where I just know that it's not mine, because it doesn't make any sense. Like emotion, like when you have like really weird emotions, especially like, I don't know if men are this way, but for women, sometimes you just have spouts of crying. You don't know why. A lot of times it's just because we need you to help move the energy.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know why I'm so sad. It's like, it's okay. You don't need to know why. Just cry it out, and the clarity will come after, you know?
Honestly, yeah. That's been a big one. Just do it, submit to the feeling, and I swear, as soon as you just let yourself experience it, it's like the clarity's instant. It's like you just know exactly where it came from. And that takes a lot of courage to go over there. But once you just do this enough, I'm pretty sure you just get used to it. Like, I know what this is. And that's a good place to be, because the energy's not going anywhere. Like, you're here to do the work. You're here to help out. You're here to make yourself be a more light, clear channel, clear being. And on the other side of this work comes a whole lot more bliss and a whole lot more fun, ecstasy, manifestation, control of life, being blessed. It's pretty cool. So there's upsides to this also. I would advise everybody to turn towards doing this, because it's never going to go away. You know, these energies that people think are uncomfortable, these things that you feel like are bothering you, they're never going to go away until you face them. And they're not as bad as you think. The story of fear or anxiety or whatever the story is around these emotions is what's keeping it there. At the end of the day, emotions and energies are just energy. They're neutral. They're just things. They're like colors. Colors don't mean good or bad, but apparently the devil is associated with red, you know? Apparently, or whatever. Or like, you know, royalty is associated with purple. You know, like love is like, you know, pink or green. So what are you going to do? These are just energies. By themselves, they mean nothing. It's the story that defines it a certain way. If you can change your story about things, you will be free. And when you can get control of the stories, that's when everything starts becoming open. You're seeing energy like a puzzle. So I'm going to take this, all right, and I'm going to put it over here where it belongs. The more fluid you can be with this, I feel like that's the game here. The more fluid you can be with moving through energies is the way that you can take control over what's happening and over how you create your reality and how you can be more in alignment with source and God. And that means like right now, like I'm advising myself on doing this right now. I guess that's what like multidimensionality means. That you're going through the thing, you're also speaking about the thing, you're experiencing the thing with other people who are also doing the thing, and we're all doing the thing collectively.
I think that, like, people get confused because they feel like, well, how come you know, I can't be the person that's traveling the world and has all this money and has the love of their life and has all of these things, right? Let me explain this. Okay, this is what me and my mentor talk about. Every single person that is here that is on this mission is doing a different job, right? And this is how he explains it. And I've said this before. It's like when we're baking a cake, somebody has to mix up the batter. Somebody has to put it in the oven. Somebody has to take it out and assemble the cake. Then somebody has to put icing on the cake. Then somebody's going to design the cake. And then somebody's going to transfer it to wherever it's going, right? Everybody plays a part. Not everybody gets to be the cake decorator. Not everybody gets to have the fun part because you didn't sign up for that. You said, no, I'm going to come here and I'm going to do the dirty work. I'm going to get my hands dirty and I'm going to make the batter, you know? So you have to look at it in that sense that everybody here is on a different mission and you can't compare your mission to other people's mission because we're all different parts of the cake baking and making. And we need every single person's part to have the grand finale of the cake, which for us is that evolution, which is that heightened peak of consciousness for the next stage of dimension that we're going to be playing in. So I just want everybody to recognize that and don't try not to get down on yourself. Feel empowered for the place that you're in and the mission that you're on. And no, it shouldn't look like everybody else's.
That certainly is true. Your life is your life.
That is
You
one
can't
thing
compare to other
that's
people.
like, you can't. That's the reason why our world has tried to make it look like this is how you achieve happiness. You fall in love. You get married. You have a wedding. You have children. You have a white picket fence, right? They want you to think that it's all the same. All of the happiness is the same, and this is what you need to do in order to achieve that, yet nobody achieves it. Nobody achieves that happiness. They don't glorify uniqueness in each piece of the puzzle for a reason, because then we would succeed.
They got us good.
They got
us good.
Those baby diaper commercials, they got us good, making you think that that's like going to be what, maybe it will, but it's not for everybody. Why does millions of people have to watch something that looks so happy and so fun? And it's like the reality of it, way harder than you think that it is, right? I'm just using it as an example. They just
And you know, all that
to
stuff is cool too. But there's pros and cons to every journey and every flavor. So it's like, if you really want to go travel and make hella money and like, you know, have the love of your life and have this crazy cool adventure, like I feel like I'm that guy. I'm gonna have it too.
I think
And I'm well on my way there. But we all can have whatever we want. You just can't ignore the darkness. So if you want all those things to escape from your job, well, good luck. That's suffering. As long as you do your job, you can still have all the good shit too. You just have to also do your job. That's a good lesson for me. I can have all the good stuff and all the cool, crazy, God blissy experiences if I also do my job here on Earth. And sometimes that looks like getting your hands dirty, getting ugly. And sometimes it's not fun. I mean, it can be fun if you know what you're doing, but shit, sometimes it'll blindside you. It won't always be fun. That whole forgetfulness is a part of our human experience. But embrace it. It's part of it. Like whatever goes up must come down. Whatever goes down must come up.
I was just going to say that. Just going to say that. Yeah. That's why it's so important to stay neutral, because you don't want to attach to the uppers. Because when you do, then you feel like, oh shit, why couldn't I have kept that consistent? So it's like if you stay neutral, you stay consistent. You can enjoy the ups, and then when the downs come, you're like, hey, here I am in this. It's gonna come back up again, right? You just have the faith in knowing each plays a role. It all plays its role.
And that's so strange, because the more neutral you get about the highs and lows, the more you could just steer the ship where you want to go. The more you control you have over how things look and feel. I promise. From that neutral place of just pure awareness and just knowing how things are, that's where manifestation happens.
Right.
That conscious awareness of neutrality and just observation of what's happening. Still engaged, but you're not attached or identified with these ups and downs. That's when you get to control the state of what happens next by detaching first and then creating and then reattaching and then detaching and then creating that loop over and over again.
Yeah, I would say that me being in this neutral state for as long as I have been, that um, what I've learned the most from it is that neutrality is the truest form of faith. It's not this mundane, oh, here I am. Sometimes it feels like that. But it really is just this pure form of faith. Because you're like, I'm just here. I'm just being guided and like I'm doing God's work, and whatever that looks like, I'm prepared for. And if it looks like really amazing, blissful moments, great. And if it looks like really dark, sad times, great, because I know how to get back to the neutrality and the faith, how to get back to that, so you're always just in this. I wouldn't say always, because it's like a band frequency. It's a frequency band. It's constant. It goes like this. It just moves up, down, up, down. And we've talked about this before, So it's like trying to get it to level out is kind of the point. Because the higher you go, the farther, just as far you have to come down. So you're like, all right, let's ride that wave of neutrality and faith and being in God's love, because God's love is light and dark.
I like that a lot. That whole wavelength, this is a frequency. It goes up and it goes down like this. The faster your frequency gets, it's like it becomes like a straight line. Like you can only have ups and downs and the perception of ups and downs so much. If your frequency gets fast enough, you just perceive a straight line.
Dude,
just even.
Right.
It's just even, right? So if you really want to get your frequency to the highest place, it's literally just even.
Yeah, and you're right. It's like when it's going so fast, it is. It's neutral.
Yeah, there's no up and down, just like
yeah.
It's so fast, it's still. So yeah, you can get to that place in reverse also. If you become still, you can make your frequency jacked up to the highest. Because stillness could either be from complete lack of movement or from complete acceleration to the point where it's complete stillness. So it goes both ways. And you can reverse engineer your state of being based on where you're at. Either going really fast or by slowing down a bunch. And to know how to do that, to be able to do that in whatever situation you're in, that's how you do the frequency management in every way.
And that's what mastery is.
That is.
Nothing affects you. Good or bad. It just is. You know what I mean? It just is. It's like, of course there's bliss. What do you mean? Of course there's darkness. What do you mean? Like it just is. It's right here, and you're just in this like love of all things.
This dude falls 3616 is hilarious.
Yeah, and Prodigy Prophecy. Thanks so much for all your support.
Yeah.
I'm glad that this is resonating for you guys, seriously, because we didn't really know what we were going to talk about. We never do. We just let it come through, and I feel like everybody's kind of feeling this like energy right now that we're talking about. We're like looking for answers when we know the answers, right? We just need to get back into our faith, get back to asking the right questions. Where's your relationship with God? Where's your relationship with your mission? Are you getting down on yourself? Are you beating yourself up? Or are you the opposite? Are you like high on it? It's great. They're all both beautiful things. Just know how to get back to neutrality.
Yep. And I think once you get to neutrality, then and only then will you be able to construct a life of more constant bliss. Because neutrality is like that fertile ground that's necessary before you can inject your conscious vibration into your reality. You have to first be detached from what's going on, aka neutral, to then have a blank slate. Now that you're not attached to what's going on outside of you, or in your emotions or in your thoughts, it's just pure, what we call the pure I am awareness or pure consciousness. From that point, you can inject a state of being. You can become a certain emotion, a certain vibration. It's pure, so it happens instantly. This is where like the law of assumption comes in, or the law of attraction. You can create a state of being by calling in a frequency, by becoming that frequency from that neutral place. And now that's what you embody. It instantly embodies it. And from that point, your reality then reflects that. And then your reality changes. So that's reality mastery. That's how it goes. So you can get to that neutral place. You can now decide what frequency you have. Because doing the work, I support it. Doing the work here on earth, moving through the energies, that's important. That's going to happen. That's going to happen regardless. However, for you to be the fullest extent of a good energy worker, you want to become a master, right? And for that to happen, you got to be able to control your reality. Essentially, that looks like I don't, if you can really control your reality, you don't have any bad vibrations. You don't have any bad experiences. You're always in enjoyment and love and gratitude, the highest vibrations. That's at the top of the pyramid. And if, like, what's the point if we're not going to do that? What's the point of living if we're not going to go there to the top? The bottom matters too, but at the end of the day, the journey is to go up. So I want to present the idea that once you do learn this neutrality, you can inject whatever state of being you want. You can create whatever reality you want. You can be in states of bliss and gratitude. And I think if you really knew how powerful you were, for everybody here, for myself, for you, for everyone, if you really knew what was possible and what was able to do right now, and how connected you were with life and with God and with yourself and with this beautiful reality, then wouldn't you just be in constant love, bliss, and gratitude? Wouldn't that just be the state of being because you know it? Like there's nothing else to do. It's all done. We're in alignment. Life is good. God is great. Everything is happening exactly on time. Wouldn't that mean that there's only thing left to do is just to be in awe and in gratitude and then shape reality with God as you wish, as you will? A person's hurting, help them heal. You want to create more money, generate more money. I want to have this happen right now. This is going to happen right now. I want to create this experience for next week. This happens. You can do these things once you merge with that neutrality or that pure consciousness. And that's the doorway to heaven, so to speak. That pure, unadulterated I am. That pure consciousness. That's where we should all be. And that's where we're all going. So take your time, but eventually that's where everyone will be. That's where we're all going. That's the whole point of this. And you can reverse engineer that state by being in states of gratitude, by being in states of neutrality, by surrendering and honoring God, knowing and reminding yourself everything's happening perfectly for a reason, as it should. I'm doing God's work, like you said, Carly. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, even if it doesn't feel like it. The moment you have that neutrality and you remember what's going on, that's when you detach from this reality, close your door to the senses, and then you open your door to your real self, your higher self, your soul. And that's when you can start playing the game. And reality on Earth. He said Earth is a prison planet. I thought that was funny. It kind of is. But you can escape prison if you know where the key is. And that's you within.
That's why this is one of the biggest, most, what's the word? When you just like, okay, what's the word when like a warrior prevails, right? That's why this is the most prevailing experience. Because it is such a dense reality for a collective and for the way things are, right? I don't experience it because I don't pay my attention to it. I know it exists. I don't give it fear. I don't feed it, right? I create my reality based off of my own personal power, but I know that it's there. And that is why this is such a prevailing experience, like I was just saying. It's just because we're really out here doing this. It really is. So it can be so dense, and I get it. You know, our mind can slip so far down so fast. You know, within a moment, my mind can be like, "Okay, I'm good," and then it can be like, "Where did I go?" You know, and that's part of the challenge. So it's like getting it back up again. Remembering your personal power. You know, bringing back in your love for self, your love for God, your love for everyone here that's experiencing this reality. It's so much harder on this planet than it would be with a fifth dimensional based planet when everybody just has a conscious awareness. It's like this is warrior status. It really, really is. That's why we call it the light warriors. It's war. We're at war. But we're at war and doing it totally different than this planet has ever seen before.
Yep. Yeah, I was trying to evade that one for a minute because I was like, I oscillated between there's totally a war. No, there's no war. What are you talking about? It's all within me, dog. It's all within me. Honestly, both are true at the same time. There is a war and there's no war at all.
Right.
But
It's
you have to play
simultaneous.
both sides. You have to play both sides.
Right. Like I
Yeah.
don't ever pay attention to that, right? Because what you pay attention to is like where your energy goes and where it flows. But if we look at the overall theme of this earth and how much war there has been physically, and then we come in and we're like, hey, we're going to change the game. We're going to war by bringing in God's light, and that's why it's a war. Because there are people that are so far from that it brings this duality that looks like war.
Have you ever seen the Care Bears?
I think.
It's-
Why?
It was this old cartoon where there's a bunch of different colored bears. It was like gummy bears, and they're called Care Bears. And they would shoot love out of their chest at something, and they would just care problems away. Be like love, woo. Like
It's true.
yeah, that's how we win wars. We just love people into higher consciousness. We just love
Oh, yeah.
reality, love ourselves into higher consciousness.
There can
If
only
you,
be a war if there's a reaction. So if all of us light warriors are now in our own personal power and we're not reacting to what they're trying to get us to do, okay, kill me. So be it. I'm not going to give you my power to feed
I'll
into
be
your
back.
fear. Yeah, I'll be right back. And we'll do this again.
I mean, I'm gonna have to grow up as a toddler again, but bitch, I'll be back. Oh man, that's funny. Me and my brother would like be making jokes about this one movie called John Wick. Anyways, like they had like a This group was an underground like international syndicate that had like a monopoly on the entire world. It's like they ran everything, like something in real life that you may be familiar with. They run everything, right? And it's like it's funny because like they're all like there's a lot of assassins and assassinations happening inside of it. They're always like doing contracts, and nobody really gives a shit about dying because they know they'll be back. Like they have schools that'll train kids because their souls reincarnate into these same spaces, these same groups of people or cultures, and they have schools that'll bring them up and like raise them up as an assassin again, because that's what they do. That's just how they work. Their souls just do this. So it's like on a soul level, growing and living like a 20, 30, 40, 60, 100 year experience here on earth is like nothing. It's like, oh yeah, I'll just go do this again. I'll just go do this again. Let's go do this again. So yeah, we will be back. We will be back. There's no stopping this. But for now, everybody enjoy themselves, have fun, do your work. And again,
Do you believe that we will be back? Because there's a lot of people that really do believe that this is their last lifetime on this planet, and that's how I feel. Like I feel like I'm done with like this dimension.
I think I'm gonna die when I want to. Like I'll pass on when I want to. Like I'll leave my body consciously. That's what I think for me. Because the fifth dimension is not like no 3D. You're still physical. It's just that you're physical plus your higher dimension also at once. So it's like heaven on earth. You would have no problems being on earth physically if this was heaven on earth. It's only because it's like hell on earth that this is a problem. So there will be no more hell on earth, but there'll be heaven on earth. So I mean, like, everybody's going to want to stick around once we're all done. Nobody's going to want to leave until you just be like, I'd rather go do something else. Zoop. Go, like, do something else. So I think that is what's going to be important, because the vibration is going to raise and everybody on the collective is going to come up as a unit. So we just don't have to, we don't have to live this earth reality again the way it is now. That's what we're doing here, is raising the vibration out of here. And the more you, like right now as the individual consciousness, can exist in that fifth dimensional heaven on earth vibration here right now, you can live in heaven on earth right now. Like, you do not have to wait for other people. You do not have to wait for the rest of the world to come along before you can experience heaven on earth. You can do it right now. Of course, that's where that whole go to the neutrality, go back to God, the I am presence, the pure, unadulterated consciousness, the Father within, the kingdom of heaven. Go there, identify with that. Close your eyes, close your attention to the senses, the physical world. Turn away from the 3D, go within, realize this is where the real shit happens, and then embody a frequency like gratitude, like, wow, something wonderful just happened. Know who you are. Be still and know that I am God. The I am, the pure consciousness is God. And then once you're linked up with that, you are in the heaven on earth vibration. So that's, you just carry that around, you walk around with that vibration. That becomes your law of assumption. This becomes your state of being. And then now that's who you are, and that's how your reality reflects by law of attraction. Now that's what your reality will become. So you can already be on the heaven on earth frequency if you want to. All it takes is a decision. Know who you are, and then you could be there. And if anybody wants to know how to do that, DM Carly, DM me, we'll show you the ropes. However, you don't have to wait for the other people in your world and reality to come along. I promise. And they will actually change. Other people will change. Because if you have a higher vibration, you have control over lower vibrations. If you ever are stuck in a room and somebody with a higher presence or a bigger presence walks in, everybody now looks to that person for authority and for what are we going to do? They are now the highest consciousness in the room, so they have precedence over what happens. They are now the leader. That's why one person with a super high consciousness is just as powerful as like 1,000 people with the lower consciousness or 1,000,000 people with the lower consciousness. So if you can become that person with a higher consciousness, that will allow you to transfigure the reality physically around you and help other people change because they will convert to your vibration, whether they like it or not. They have no choice. They must obey the leader, the consciousness. So if you can do that within yourself, you can create change in other people. You won't have to think about other people. They will change automatically. If you have a higher consciousness, it'll happen automatically. Your only job is to do you. And then heaven on earth follows you around everywhere. Other people can do what they do. That's not your reality, just yours. So that's been my work for the last few months, few weeks, forever on forward. It's just being here in this vibration so that I could be in that heaven on earth place. And then that will become and is becoming my reality. And it's happening faster and faster and faster. Anybody can do this.
Yep.
We're all already doing it, actually. But you can accelerate the process the more you pay attention to it. You can accelerate it faster.
Yeah, and it's all about creating the reality within you through frequency and then allowing the universe to orchestrate how that looks on the outside. So it's like when I'm in a really high frequency state, like where I'm seeing like orbs and shit every day, like all over the place, you know, and say I go out to a social place, it will literally repel people that can't handle the frequency, and it will magnetize the ones that can. So you can't look at somebody and specifically say, I want them to be magnetized to me. It doesn't work like that. It depends on if they are open to receiving that type of frequency, you know? So it's just allowing, letting go, being in neutrality, holding that frequency, and letting the universe orchestrate through your frequency the types of experiences that you're going to have, because they are aligning with what it is you desire, because that's why you're in that frequency. You desire that type of reality being reflected back to you on the level that you're at internally. So you can't fixate on it being specific things, which is so hard to do when you really want something, when the ego really wants something specific. It's like, that's why you have to know how to get back to neutrality and then create based off of your frequency and allow it to orchestrate itself. And that's bending reality. Can I get it? Ben?
That's hilarious.
I am bending reality.
Oh man. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good summation of what's important these days. Is heaven on earth is possible right now. Do what you do. Stop fucking around with other people and trying to change them. Change yourself. Your reality is their reality. We all share the same collective server. So if you can raise your vibration to change your personal server, you can change others too. But not if you go to do it just so you can change somebody else. That's not how it works. Like you can do and you can change other people to be at a higher vibration, but you can't do it if that's your end goal. You just have to go within and change yours. And naturally, you'll start magnetizing higher levels of reality. Everybody exists on every level of reality. Right now, you're seeing people at your level of reality. You are on the vibration of whatever you're on, and other beings, other people, other circumstances, occurrences, what have you, those are being received by you, by whatever vibration and frequency you are currently on. If you are on a higher frequency, you will attract the higher version of whatever is around you instantaneously. And then over a long period of time, everything will come around. So it really is you first. It really is. And that's the most empowering thing ever, because nobody else is in charge of you. Neville Goddard said most people don't want to take that responsibility because they don't want to accept the consequences of misusing their imagination or misusing their consciousness. Because you can create anything you want, whether it be good, bad, or ugly, or something else. But if you create something negative, you pay attention to something you don't like, to the negative vibrations, you'll get that just the same as if you get something positive. So it's all in your hands, but it's about what are you going to do? Are you going to accept the responsibility of putting your attention in that place? That's all we do. That's all we do. We should write a book on this. Well, we are, but we should make like a manual, like a 30-page manual, not long at all. Start manifesting immediately. Boom. Control your reality 101. Boom.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
With all of this being said, all of the things that we're talking about, what I'm getting to express is that when you integrate all the things we're talking about, law of assumption, law of attraction, all the stuff, what is happening is you become the true mirror. And when you become a true mirror, like we talked about before, you're not absorbing anything anymore. So you're just the mirror. So everywhere you go, you have to recognize now that you're the mirror. And not everybody wants to look in the mirror, and not everyone likes what they see when they look in the mirror. And when you become the mirror and they see you, this is when ego is gone, because you recognize that you don't take anything personally because you're their mirror now. And if they react to the way that you are, it's just them projecting off of the reflection that they see. And when you're a lot of light and you're a lot of love, and somebody feels that and it triggers shame and guilt and fear, and they react based off of that, that's why holding your power and recognizing that you are the mirror is so important, because then you can keep your frequency high. The second that you take it personally and you allow the ego to take it personally, you're not the mirror anymore. No, they are the mirror. And they are the mirror.
Yeah.
But now you're allowing it to be absorbed into you. So it's just important to recognize being a mirror is so powerful. Be the mirror. Just be the mirror, and let people just do what they do based off of their reflection in front of you.
Thank you for that one. That one rings true for me.
It's hard to remember. You just have to remind. This is why we do these lives. You know, it's for me, it's for you, it's for everyone listening, because we just need reminders.
I want to share something that has been incredibly helpful for me. And you know how we have this idea that we can forget, like it's easy to forget, get caught up and like forget who you are, forget the truth of how shit works. It's impossible to forget if you're always remembering. So if you're always remembering who you are, like you put that before you do anything else. Like they say that people who put God first, when people put God first, God puts them first, you know? So it's like, shit. If you're always remembering the truth about the creator, about yourself, about this life, then you will never forget. And if you never forget, you'll never have to experience what it's like to not have that. So it's really that's all that really matters. If you're serious about wanting to not serious, if you're sincere about really wanting to live this reality, everyone, it's just about remembering it 24/7. And I mean like no off days, no off moments, all the time, all the time. And that's the greatest power too. I used to think like, wow, that's a lot of it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort to be put in. But I mean, it's either put in the effort to create your reality or put in the effort trying to deal with the consequences of not creating your reality. What are you going to do? I'd rather be at the head. I'd rather be steering the ship. So if you can just remember these truths every moment, if you could stay with your I am presence, if you could be staying connected with the Father within, like, in Christianity, they have the Father and the Son. If you could stay connected all the time, you're never going to be lost. You can always see things happening as they're going on. You can have control over them. Not always fully, because, you're still growing, but eventually you will, as long as you remember. So just remember.
Yeah, that's why it's so important to be careful, not careful, but like I said, sincere about what you consume. Every day I listen to things that have to do with consciousness. Every single day. It's just programmed into my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I would survive without it, without the reminders, because then I would start just getting in my head. So it's like I have to listen to those things. I have to do meditation. Meditation every morning has helped me a lot. Just a 10-minute morning meditation for positivity or for self-love or affirmations gets that brain right in the forefront of your personal power and the love that you have for yourself and for your existence. And it's very helpful. It sets the tone for the rest of your day. We have to remember that our mind is very powerful. Our heart is more powerful, but the brain is manipulative, and it is what keeps us in the game. So you got to train it like you're training a monkey,
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You got to work with it.
Yes. Wow.
Closing thoughts?
Yes, I would like to refer everybody to the book that saved my life and really expedited me on this journey of creatorhood and consciousness like no other. It's less than 2 hours long if you listen to it on audio form. It's free on YouTube. You can get it on Audible. You can buy it paperback. It is The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. It is the easiest, shortest read that literally houses the simplest formula and the keys to how reality works, how you work, and how to use yourself. So powerful. And it's written by Neville Goddard, an American mystic, spiritual dude who lived in the early 1900s. He's the father of the law of assumption. That's what his contribution was. And this book is immense. He has tons of great stuff, but this one book is so short, so concise, it'll tell you everything you need to know. I listened to this on repeat twice a day, morning and night, for like 6 weeks. Still do to this day, not every day, but I listen to it often. And I've burned these things into my mind now to where it's, I can't go back. Like, I will never be in hell ever again. I will never be disempowered ever again. I will never be this way ever again. It was like my key out. Because when you arm yourself with the knowledge of truth, and then you keep recycling that over and over, you'll never be able to go back to the way that you were. You'll never be able to experience that pain again. It just won't happen. You will know that that's complete illusion. You'll know that you have control. So that book, that's my closing thought right there. Find it free on YouTube.
Okay, that's great. Gonna be listening to it. I know Neville Goddard. I've just never sat out and listened to his stuff. I mean, I have, but little blips. I haven't listened to the whole book. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to do that.
Yay.
Yeah. And if you guys want consciousness coaching, DM Nerds, the Great Connector. You don't have to DM me to schedule with me. Just click on a link. Did you get your link up yet, or you want them to message you?
DMs are better.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, it was a beautiful talk. Thank you, everybody who was on. Thank you to our selenite crystal for assisting us. Our wands.
Yes.
Wingardium Leviosa.
You and me have the same idea.
I got that Harry Potter stuff going on, you know?
Yeah. It was a pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thanks for all
Bye.
the comments. Carly, thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.